Governor Abbott is declaring victory for school choice. It's May 30th, 2024, and these are your headlines. As you can see, we're actually here at the Texas Homeschool Convention, meeting a lot of folks, but wanted to run through a few of the big stories, one of them being a story carried over from Tuesday's elections, which is when you look at the victories across the state in May and March, Governor Greg Abbott and pro-school choice organizations are celebrating the results of the May 28th Republican primary runoffs for school choice. Governor Abbott, who made school choice a top focus in the elections, declared that the Texas legislature now has enough votes to pass school choice. Overall, Governor Abbott was successful in 5 of the 11 runoff races in which he endorsed. Of those 5 races, 3 involved a pro-school choice candidate winning over an anti-school choice candidate. But Governor Abbott and school choice more broadly has also found success even where his endorsed candidate was unsuccessful. For example, Andy Hopper, Carissa Richardson, David Lowe, AJ Louderback, candidates that did not have Governor Abbott's endorsement but did win, have all come out in favor of school choice. Club for Growth Action, Club for Growth's national super PAC, also celebrated key victories in the primary runoffs. The group itself spent nearly $4 million on the primary, while the affiliated School Freedom Fund spent over $4.4 million. The group was successful in 10 of the 14 races it targeted, including the same 3 races involving anti-school choice incumbents that Abbott endorsed in. In addition to Governor Abbott and Club for Growth, the American Federation for Children has also declared victory in the runoff elections. They spent a total of $6.45 million on pro-school choice candidates thus far in this election cycle. Now, when you total it all up, of the 21 Republicans who voted to kill school choice last session, the 21 Republicans that joined with Democrats, 16 of them decided to run for re-election to the Texas House. So 5 of them said they weren't going to run for re-election. When you look at March and the May 28th runoffs, all but 7 have lost their bids to return. After Governor Greg Abbott pardoned Army Sergeant Daniel Perry for the shooting death of an armed protester, Democrat attorneys general, that's right, not attorney generals, attorneys general, from more than a dozen states are calling on the U.S. Department of Justice to open a federal criminal civil rights probe into the incident. In downtown Austin on July 25th, 2020, Black Lives Matter protester Garrett Foster pointed an AK-47 at Daniel Perry while a group of BLM protesters surrounded his car and began to bang on it. Perry, who was stationed at Fort Hood at the time and driving an Uber for extra income, says he honked his car horn at protesters blocking an intersection. During Perry's trial, his defense team stated that Foster raised a firearm at Perry, leading Perry to use his handgun in self-defense. In April of 2023, a Travis County jury in Austin sentenced Daniel Perry to 25 years in prison for Foster's death. Nearly a year later, after investigation, the Board of Pardons and Paroles recommended that Governor Abbott grant him a full pardon and restore his Second Amendment rights, which he did shortly after that decision came out a couple weeks ago. Now, 2 weeks after his parole was granted, Democrat attorneys general from Arizona, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nevada, the list goes on, are all urging U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland to look into the matter.
America is at a crossroads. Now, more than ever, Texas must step up and lead the country. We don't have time to mess around. The only way to save America is with a strong Texas. You and I know this, but so do the enemies of life and liberty. Therefore, you and I have no choice but to stand up and fight. I'm Sarah Gonzalez, and to the enemies of liberty, I say, come and take it.
And our last story comes out of Texas Scorecard's investigative department. For years, Californians have fled their state. Many of those refugees came to Texas to enjoy a life more free from government encroachment. Eileen Blachowski is one of those transplants. She was a parent education advocate in California, and she continued that work when she moved to Texas. She works with the group Texas Education 911. Their mission is to drive the conversation to fix Texas public schools urgently. Ex-California parents hoping for a less politicized education system enrolled their children in Texas's government schools, but people aren't the only things that have migrated from California. Certain school clubs common there are now in the Lone Star State, and that's the focus of the new investigative report. They are called the Gay Straight Alliance Clubs, or Genders and Sexualities Alliance Clubs. The GSA Network website says these clubs were once safe spaces for LGBTQ plus youth in middle schools and high schools. However, their mission has crept from safe space to being vehicles for deep social change related to racial, gender, and educational justice. You can read more about this story and all our stories of the day at TexasScorecard.com.